Starting. Is it live? I think we're live. I have no
We're
clue.
live.
Hello! Welcome, really, really special version of the Mexican Soccer Show. I'm your interim host, Cesar Hernandez. Wisa is off doing very important things, apparently much more important than hosting the show. So I'm here. Don't worry, I'm only here for a little bit of time. We were trying to figure out some stuff. It became a little difficult. Now we have about 10 to 15 minutes to talk about the game. But don't worry, we're here. I figured it out. That's why Wisa put me in charge. Maybe he should have put someone else in
You
charge.
got it. You got it. You got it. Sis.
I got it. All right. So right now it's going to be, it's a small group. It's just me and Naib right now. Naib, how you doing?
Good, good, Cesar. Exciting times, coming after the win against the Netherlands and now against Belarus. Big difference between playing against the Netherlands and then playing against Belarus. Two different levels of football.
Yeah.
But exciting times. Really cold in Borisov at the moment right now. So let's
Really?
see how that happens.
Yeah. I looked up
Um,
last night. I saw that it's supposed to be between 27 to 31 degrees.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not your typical Chiapas weather or your typical Morelia weather or whatnot. But the starting lineup for tonight's game or today's early morning game in certain locations in the world is Talavera as a goalkeeper. You have Paul Aguilar, who's repeating from the lineup. In the last game, you got Hugo Rodriguez from Pachuca as a one of the right center back, and then you have the libero, which will be Cata Dominguez from Cruz Azul. Left center back will be the player, what's his name, Venegas from Atlas, and then you got Ponce as the left wing back. Your three midfielders are going to be Jonathan Dos Santos from Villarreal, Tecatito from Twente on the right, Ponchito from Atlas. Ponchito, the most exciting player in Liga MX right now, possibly. And then on top you have Raúl Jiménez from Atletico, and you have Giovanni Dos Santos from Villarreal.
It's gonna be good. That should be like I was telling you before the show even started. I think it's gonna be fascinating to see what the midfield could do. A really, really young field where young midfield where Jonathan Dos Santos is the oldest player in there at
Yeah.
24 years old.
And a little lack of experience, you could say. I
Yeah.
think Jonathan has been there in Barcelona for a long time, but he hasn't had that opportunity to be one of the leaders, to be that kind of player that leads the midfield. And today he has that opportunity. It used to be that Jonathan would come to El Tri and there would be a Gerardo Torrado around or a Carlos Salcido to sort of be the leader. And right now, on paper, the veteran is quote unquote veteran because he's young and is still trying to prove himself is Jonathan Dos Santos.
Yeah, and it's going to be fascinating to see too, because it's going to be, and we were talking about too, the Dos Santos, the brothers. That's going to be their first time that they've started together for El Tri since 2012. So I think it's going to be a massively important match for the two of them, because for years, they've always dreamt about playing together. And now they're not only playing each other, not playing against, but playing together for club, but now country. And although that's happened in the past, it seems like it's going to be a little bit more solidified this time. And I don't know, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think this is the start of the two brothers having a more significant role on the national team?
Yeah, I think that's the dream for them, and I think that's the dream from the family. The Dos Santos family was all present in Amsterdam to see the brothers play in the national team. Unfortunately, they didn't have that much minutes, and I don't think they made the trip to Minsk and Belarus where the cold weather is at. But it's a historic event for any national teams. I think you rarely see two brothers playing in a national team. I mean, it happened in the Netherlands, I think, and in Denmark with the Ladro brothers. I think it happened once. So it kind of signifies a big moment for them because they left Monterrey at a really young age to Barcelona. They didn't make it at the big team in Barcelona, but they've taken different paths, and the paths brought them together in Villarreal. Talented players with Brazilian blood in them. So I mean, I think for them it's special, and it should mark a beginning of something big in the national team.
It does. It definitely feels a little bit more, like I said, solidified than last time. And I think Jonathan only had one call up in 2012, and I think this is his first one since then. So, and I know we could probably talk about that for a while, but it's 8:51, so we should probably get going on other players.
Yeah.
All right. So from the other starting 11, which other players are you really really excited to see? Like which players, and would you say need a significant game? Which players do you think are going to step up? Like who stands out to you?
Well, I think the two players I would say from Liga MX that kind of intrigue me is how Ponchito will play in European soil, and
Yeah,
I'm interested as well with Hugo Rodriguez from Pachuca because
yeah,
I'd say the newbie in the team in the lineup because other players have had some minutes in Piojo's style system, and Hugo Rodriguez is new to the whole spectrum of playing with Piojo. So from looking at the two Liga MX players, Ponchito and Hugo Rodriguez. From Europe, I want to see Raúl and Giovanni. I think they need goals. They need to get more confidence. And what better way to do it than against a team like Belarus that just lost against Spain 3-0, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah. Can you imagine going back to the whole like Google thing? Can you imagine how terrifying that must have been for him? He just got his first call up. He's excited. And Piojo tosses him on the pitch. It's like, oh no, don't worry. It's just Holland, and we're playing Holland in Holland. I don't know why that like stuck in my mind in the last game. Like how terrifying that must have been for him on his first call up to be going up against Holland. And it was only for a few minutes, but
It's still big. But are there any players for you, Cesar, that you wanna specifically look at?
after after that it was just one pass. We shouldn't be basing this off just one pass, but that pass that Tecatito had in that last game was beautiful. I think even more so than the goal is that assist he had might have been even better looking. I've gone online multiple times to like check out that ridiculous curve that it had, but in all the way at limited time last game, I think he's definitely a player that I want to watch for just because he. I mean, and you heard it from Bielko saying that Corona kind of stepped up and he impressed a lot of people and he's been impressing people. He's been impressing me. I thought he was going to be a complete flop in Holland this year, but he's been doing extremely well, and I just hope that transitions well to the national team.
Yeah, and I think at Tegatito the maturity level has increased a lot. Getting those blows and kind of those hits or madrazos and Twente of sending him to the youth teams and then bring him back to the first team. So shows some type of maturity in the player.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of confidence. I mean, that pass, if he wasn't that confident in him right now, I don't think that pass would have happened like a minute after coming into the match. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I guess now that I think about it, though, my only worry is that when he came in, it was with a four. It looked like Bielko changed it to a 4-4-2, and now he's gonna be playing. And it was a limited amount of time he had, but now he's have to play a little bit more centrally in the midfield, and he can't just be on the wings. So I just wonder how he's gonna adapt to that.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the worries. The same with Ponchito can be said.
Yeah.
It's getting used to the 5-3-2 against a team like Belarus that's maybe more competitive than per se. In the same level. I don't know if it would be more competitive than Panama or not. But they're around the same type of level, I'd say, in the world right now.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so all right, we got 5 minutes left. Let's start getting in some predictions. Which players do you think are going to stand out? Which players do you think there's a chance any of them are going to flop? And then afterwards, let's hear a score prediction.
Well, I think players that are going to impress tonight. I think Jonathan and Raúl Jiménez are going to be two that will stand out. Flops, really, maybe a mistake there by one of the center backs, that are not as consistent with the style of Pio Herrera. And prediction, I'd say I'll be 2-0 Mexico.
2-0?
Yeah.
All right. All right, so I guess it's my turn. So I'm going for 4-1.
Whoa.
It's a little bit of it's an audacious score, 4-1. But by the way, 4-1 we win. By the way, just but the other way. A terrible day for our defense. But yeah, I'm shooting for 4-1. I think I kind of agree with you, but I think who's going to flop? I think it's going to be someone for the defense. I know we could kind of like wax poetic about our midfield and about our strikers, but there are, at least for me, there are still worries defensively. And even if even if we do believe these guys are solid players, they haven't had the chance to play too much together either. So that gives me a few worries. I think we're going to make a mistake in the back, but I think we're going to be. I think we're going to be on form in the attack. I think Gio might have a goal or two. Jimenez might score. I think Tecatito might score. I think that I've been talking about him this whole podcast, but I think Tecatito's going to be the player that stands out to me, and I think Jonathan Dos Santos too, because I think he needs a good game for the national team, and I think he's at the level where he's able to do that as well with all the minutes that he's been garnering in BRL recently.
Yeah, and with Jonathan, I mean, I've heard great things from Jonathan and the trainings that have happened in Minsk in the last couple of days. You know that there's a lot of he's really good with interception. He's good with the first touch pass. You know, all that kind of stuff is good for him. And you know, I mean, he's been around a group of players that are great. You know, the Velas, the Chicharitos, you know, the players, the Guardados, the Gallitos. You know, great players, and I think. What I take from this 2014 is that the group has been really special, and it makes exciting to see what will come in 2015.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I guess we could end it on that note. How significant? I mean, this could be the last final. This is going to be the final match for 2014. You know, how important do you think? I mean, or maybe we could say since the World Cup, what significant changes have you seen? Do you think there's a potential for things to get much better next year?
I think it changes in general. I was really impressed with Piojo taking the initiative in changing the tactical scheme against a rival, against an opponent like the Netherlands. I mean, I think that was pretty significant because it showed that he's grown more from, you know, learned from his mistakes that probably he did in the World Cup with substitutions. He did the substitutions that were correct during the match. He did the movements that were correct during the game itself, you know, because it looked like Reyes was going to be the libero, but then during the match he said, no, let's put him in the midfield and see what happens. You know, that and the union in the team. The union in the team is really obvious, and I think that is really special.
I mean, you can even see it on the photos, too. It was just massive, the amount of Instagram photos and, like, Twitter photos that all the players had. I know that seems dumb to be talking about, like, Twitter and Instagram, but I think it is, I don't know, kind of signifies, you know, that the players are enjoying themselves out there. And as we've mentioned before in the past, I think this is, in comparison to 2013, I think it's a significant difference. And I think you could just tell that from the mood. And there's just so much more optimism now. And even I feel so much more optimistic about the team too. I think it definitely resonates with the fans.
Yeah, and I think one of the players, I think it was Raul Jimenez, who said it yesterday or 2 days ago to one of the journalists over there in Belarus, is that the team is really united and they're really worried about competing, but they're also worried for each other, you know, how each of them is doing in their club, the minutes that each is having, and that's pretty special. I mean, if Raul calls Chicharito for help because Chicharito's having good minutes with Real Madrid, but Raul is not having that much minutes with Atletico. You know, that kind of little associations, and that could look well in the national team in the future.
No, agreed. And now I'm looking at my clock, completely forgot that it's 8:59 a.m. right now, and as much as we would love to chat, we probably have to go to the game. I got to figure out what channel it's on.
It's Unimás.
Channel 20. Okay. All right. All right. Well, you know, nice chatting. Sorry we didn't get it. It's just sorry for you guys who were listening. It was just me and Naive, so it's kind of hard for us to keep track of who was talking. But we'll be back at halftime. We'll put up a link. If I somehow figured out a way to do all this, I could figure out a way to have us come back at halftime. Hopefully we'll have Tom too. But hopefully we'll see you there too, Naive.
So hopefully we'll be there. We'll be there, Cesar.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for chatting, and we'll see you in a bit.